Welcome to Tell Me Your Story. Reverend Dr. D. Richard Dugan here. And I got to tell you how much fun we have on this program always. And we have a returning guest, believe it or not, for the fifth time. It's incredible. Her name is Brit Elders. And of course, we're going to talk about probably something that's still in the news as we speak. And that is the release of all of these UFO documents. I'm sorry, Brit, I'm still going to refer to them as UFO. I don't care what other acronym they use. UAP.
I'm the same way.
ABC, XYZ. You call it whatever you. It's like it's Twitter. Elon, I am so sorry, but it's Twitter to me. You can call it whatever you want. Call it XYZ. It's Twitter. It's like Facebook. Facebook, I guess they now refer to, although they haven't changed the logos, to Meta.
Meta, yes.
But it's like, come on. I remember when back in the 90s and the early 2000s when they would send notifications, we have an upgrade to your program, and I would install the upgrade. I'm going, what's that? You telling me there's you changed the color of that knob?
You're right.
Please. So, with all of this being said, it's great to have you back here for the fifth time.
Thank you, sir. It's great to be back.
Yeah, and of course, amid the U.S. government's disclosure of UFO, UAP encounters. Now, this was of the information I have here is April of 2020, but then, of course, we've had more information released in 2026, a worldwide surge in interest in extraterrestrial phenomenon. Again, it's not erupting; it's continuing to erupt since then, and with global media delving into reliable sightings and investigations, you are part of that whole genre, if you will, because you not only have been involved with the research, but also a book and a DVD on the subject.
Right.
Talk to us a little bit about this anniversary book that we talked about, obviously, the very first time we got together.
Right.
And now 46 or 47 years. I don't know.
Yeah, we're moving forward in time. Yes.
Yeah. But talk to us about that. And from the book, if people were to get a copy of the book, which is going back,
right.
What has changed since then from that story?
Oh my gosh.
Apparently a lot.
The book is called UFO Contact from the Pleiades, Volume 1 and Volume 2. They were originally produced in the 70s. We took them a couple of years ago, combined them, both volumes, and put them out as one big book, 200 pages. It's a 10-inch by 10-inch photo journal, has quotes from the Pleiadians, the contactee, Edward Meier. His thoughts. We then took all of this information and the material he gave us, physical material, metal samples, audio recordings, photographs, obviously, movie footage, 8mm movie footage, and we brought it to laboratories around the world that could analyze it. So the book includes our investigation, the analysis, and the reports of that. What has changed since then? First of all, Meier is still having contact. However, he is not getting any more physical documentation. They said, what else do you need? And kind of when you look back at it, they're right. He had metal samples that could not be explained. Our scientists had looked at it, and these are talented individuals from IBM, from MIT. They couldn't explain how it was put together. They said it was a cold fusion process. Audio recordings that didn't make any sense, except it was the sound of the propulsion. The photographs, beginning with the University of Arizona and going all the way to JPL. Everybody said, we can't tell you what they are, but we can tell you we can't duplicate it. So what do you do with that as an investigation? You put it together in a book, you put it out there for people to make up their own mind. It's not for me as an investigator to tell you to think one way or another. That's not my job. My job is to present my findings. And that's what we tried to do. We did the same with the documentary, but it takes you right to the scene. you literally hear Meier talk. You see him go through PSE, psychological stress evaluation. And the only form of quote lying that appeared in that PSE test was that he said he quit drinking coffee. Anyhow, yeah. So I mean, it was really good to go after every angle we could think of to compile into both book form and to documentary form so people could really make up their own minds.
Well, on the coffee issue, since the last time you and I talked, my wife and I have moved from Santa Barbara to Twin Peaks, California, which is
Oh,
near Lake Arrowhead.
uh-huh.
And we're a mile high. And from almost the day we moved in, or maybe it was a week or so, because I think it took a while to find the coffee maker. I wasn't a big, I would have maybe a pot of coffee on a weekend, maybe on a Saturday back
Yeah.
in Santa Barbara, right? I've been having a pot of coffee almost every single day, but I don't drink it for the caffeine. I don't know what it is about the air up here, but for some reason I started drinking coffee.
I
Now,
live at 7,200 feet and I'm a coffee addict too, but my coffee is very weak. I mean, my sister calls it caramel colored water. It's not
well,
not coffee.
well, I mix mine. I get a concoction, so to speak, from a good friend of mine. We do a program on Tell Me Your Story called Body of Health. His name is
Mhm.
Dennis Henson. You can look him up, bodyofhealth.life, a little plug there for him. And he has this morning coffee. It's called Morning Clarity. Now, it's a mixture of 30% of a particular mushroom that
Uh-huh.
making coffee out of, and then 70% of another type of coffee bean that they used. And they put that together. So I have that come here every month or so.
Excellent.
Then I buy a can from the store of usually it might be hazelnut or it might be vanilla ground coffee. And I
Uh-huh.
mix the two together. That's my blend. Okay.
Yeah.
And then of course, like I said, I'll put 2 scoops into the filter and I'll have that whole cup. Now that pot, now it might take me, I may take all day. I'm still drinking
Yeah.
it, say at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
All right. Or if my cup still has, and right now I've still got about 4/5 in this cup right now.
Uh-huh.
I may take it upstairs and put it in the microwave, heat it up, have a little bit of it. But whatever's left of 1/2 or more, I put it. There's apparently what do you call the other half of the coffee maker where you can make lattes and things. There's another
Oh
side of
yeah,
this.
where your steamer and
Yeah,
everything
thank
is.
you.
Yeah.
I put the cup on that little platform next to the coffee pot, turn the coffee
Uh-huh.
pot off, and then the next morning I come in, I'll go ahead and make a fresh pot, but I'll put this cup into the microwave and heat it up. It don't matter that it's a day old. It's
Yeah.
still good. I'll stir it up a
Still
little bit.
taste.
So as far as the coffee thing is concerned, it's weird. It's like what realm have I ended up in? I kind of want to talk a little bit about realms, as a matter of fact,
Sure.
because of our move, but also because of the experiences that you have had with both Billy, but also just your own, as you've researched a lot of this here. But we'll do that as we continue here on Tell Me Your Story.
Okay.
Reverend Dr. D, Brit Elders, and it's fascinating, folks. She is an investigative author and a documentary filmmaker who traveled the world exploring a variety of topics, including the mysterious world of UFOs. And she has basically participated in several in-depth investigations, including his name. It's pronounced the Billy Meier.
Yes.
Okay, that's the case, as well as the wave of UFO sightings in Mexico, which began in 1991 and continues even to today.
Yeah.
Also, apparently, is Shirley MacLaine still the CEO of?
I'm the CEO of
You're
her
the CEO of
stuff. Yeah,
ShirleyMacLaine.com. I didn't read far enough ahead there.
She's a
She
dear
also
friend.
continues to research and write for others of herself and others. She is still involved. She's still putting stuff up, still doing stuff.
She's still doing stuff. She's quite amazing. 92 years old.
Ah, my mother's age. Yes,
And
indeed.
she's starting a new movie next month.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wish I could remember
Pretty
the title.
remarkable.
Yeah, there was a movie that came out Do you remember I don't know if any way to phrase this, the short guy from Game of Thrones that she was in a
Peter
movie with?
Dinklage. Peter
Yes.
Dinklage. Yes,
Oh my God, what a great movie that was,
that was
where
precious.
she opened up part of her house to him and he
Right.
rented from her and they became fast friends and all of that stuff. That was so cool. I loved
Yeah.
watching that. Um, but let's talk about realms. Now,
Okay.
my wife and I, we have kind of concluded that somehow, some way, we have been cast into another realm or dimension that fortunately you and I are still connected in. I don't know, maybe it's mindset, but it was a year ago. All
Mm-hmm.
right. This month, June of 2025.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, early in that year, we had the passing of our dear dog, Angus, a 100-pound King Shepherd.
Oh,
And I laid him to rest on the 5th, and we took a drive up the coast on the 7th, which was a Sunday. And we come home and we have an eviction notice.
oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was taped to the
Well,
front door. Now,
the
what was,
world was moving you in a new direction. Yeah.
yeah. And then, of course, we had we had to figure out what we were going to do next.
Uh-huh.
And of course, my wife, very, very concerned, says, we're not going to end up on the street. I said, let me tell you, we aren't moving unless we have a place to go.
Right.
I mean, a dwelling to move into. And we looked for rentals. And then in August, I just took a shot on Zillow. I said, oh, pre-approved for a loan. Nah, what the heck? Probably won't happen. I couldn't believe it. We got pre-approved for an enormous amount. Now, the rules are so much different today than they were in 2008. I could have gotten double that maybe in 2008 because I was breathing.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we saw this house, and the next thing you know, we're moving in October. But it felt as though we were being pulled through some portal, a wormhole, something that was literally changing everything. I'm still having trouble figuring out, okay, what is today? Now, I usually record on Tuesdays, my
Yeah.
majority of my interviews. I work remotely for the same radio station that I worked for since 2006. Now, they're
Right.
still in Santa Barbara. I'm
Uh-huh.
here in Twin Peaks, so I can do it remotely, like we're doing here. What can you share with us
Go.
in terms of what you have experienced in your research and investigation, in terms of what you have been told, whether it was by Billy Meier or others in your investigations over the years, in regards to human beings who are open to, as my wife and I are, allowing the universe, for example, we this is what we told the universe that June. We need a place to live.
Beautiful.
We didn't say we need a place to rent, we need a home to buy, we need a place to live. And
Right.
that's how we've approached it for decades. What
You
about
put
this
it out there,
concept of
Rich.
dimensions and portals? Go ahead,
It's
please.
so incredible because what people don't realize, many people don't realize, a lot of us do. You put the thought out there and you can manifest the thought. The energy of thought is so powerful and so strong. You are pulling yourself forward by
Mm-hmm.
making that conscious decision yourself. That's what free will is all about.
Mm.
What I found, and I've had this thing since I was a kid, that I don't say go with the flow, I say flow with the go. Because everything is moving you forward. And if you get into that flow, it is a different realm of energy. And what you're dealing with is energetic. It hasn't got anything to do with going through a portal and things like that that we put into physical terms.
Mm-hmm.
It's energy. Everything is energy.
Mm-hmm.
When you open your heart and your mind to things, everything just floods in. So many wonderful aspects of life blossom like a lotus. It's all right there. But you've got to get to a space where, like you did, you asked.
Yeah. A year before that, um, my wife had lost her part-time job and things were getting tight. And so I made some financial decisions that within 2.5 months actually did come back to bite me. Now, the reason I mention it is because at the time we were looking at the document we received from the landlord that said, you've got 3 days to get caught up or you're out.
Oh, gosh.
Now,
Yeah.
what I found out was that there was no way they could throw us out. I mean,
Right.
because California laws. But I stopped, I put my head down, and I basically said, what do I do? Okay. I thought that the decision I made 2.5 months ago was the right one. I had communicated with the landlord, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
And the answer that came back was so simple. 3 words. Ask for help.
Exactly.
And the impression I got was, get on your phone, go to your text messaging, and put together a text and send it to as many people as you can think of in your contact list.
Uh-huh.
And we got the help that we asked.
Fantastic.
Now, I think that one of the interesting aspects here, I have a friend in Ireland I have on the program pretty regularly. Um, and she, Soma Ahara is her name.
Mm.
That's her chosen name, shall we say.
Uh-huh.
She's in contact with the Pleiadians on a regular basis. And there's one who kind of leads the show in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
And I've asked her or them, because she actually goes into a state where she brings them through,
Right.
about this concept as well as our spiritual existence in these physical bodies and where are we going next and so on and so forth. And I'm curious as to what you have gleaned again from the information you've gathered over the years as to, and I don't know that it could be any different than what I'm about to say, that we are, as human beings, as a species, we are exactly where we are supposed to be right now. But there are those who are of the mindset that there's going to be this rapture, there's going to be
Mm.
end of the world, Armageddon, the Antichrist. I hear this all the time. And yet, from my experiences in Christian radio in the 80s, early 90s, there are at least, and I learned more than this, but there are at least 3 different perspectives. Number one is, no, that already happened in the first and second centuries. Number two is, oh my God, somebody sneezed in Israel. That's the end. It's coming to an end. And then there are others saying, oh no, it's way out there. It's way
Right.
and then of course she says, or they say through her,
Uh-huh.
that they are not going to allow us, the Pleiadians are
Right.
not going to allow mankind to destroy themselves for, I believe it's what, the
Sixth time.
possible sixth time. It's been
Yeah.
5.
Right.
And Greg Braden, in our conversations with him over the years, has told us about this area. I believe it was in Pakistan. That's this giant, enormous sheet of glass. And
Like
of course,
nuclear glass.
yep.
Yes.
And of course, those are the kinds of questions that come. Okay, well, what would cause sand to turn to glass? Nothing's happened on this planet in millennia, as far
Right.
as we know. So,
Right.
what would have caused that? And of course, it goes to that very conclusion. It had to have been a nuclear blast.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably evidence of one of our extinction events.
Mm-hmm.
What's been
Yeah.
your perception from information you've gathered as to mankind's future?
Well, let me tell you what the Pleiadians told Billy Meier in the first place. They were talking about our potential destruction, our destruction of each other and of the planet. And they said, we're not allowed to interfere yet. Yet being the operative word. When we get to a point where we're no longer learning lessons, and we are talking about destruction, not just of human life, but of the planet, they will step in. That's when they have to. But right now, we're like little kids, like we were talking before. You got to stick your hand on the fire. You got to find out it's hot. You got to go through these things yourself. The other thing I've learned from all the contactees, even abductees that I've worked with, it's about the individual. Where the individual is, where they align their thoughts, their belief structure, their heart knowledge, that makes all the difference in the world. So everyone has different lessons to go through. And we can't just say, all right, the entire planet's going to experience XYZ, because every person is going to understand and view that lesson differently. To say that we are on the edge of destruction, which drives me nuts when I hear that. No, we're not. Stop being so negative. Stop putting that energy into it. Get outside, look at a tree, hug a tree, find a flower, smell it, take a walk, pet your dog, hug a human. Everything is not bad. It's okay. But you got to find that within yourself to do it. If you're spending all of your time worrying and being afraid of something that may or may not happen, you're not living. You're not progressing. And you're putting yourself in a position where you're setting yourself up for doom, gloom, and failure. And I don't want that for me, and I don't want that for anyone I know. I want them to experience life to the fullest. We all chose to be here.
Well,
so we need to be here.
Yeah. And I know that the medical community will verify the damage that we do to ourselves, specifically physically, but also mentally and emotionally.
Right.
When we stress about these things.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, Japan started doing studies on how stress reacts in the body 40 years ago. They were way ahead of us at that point. We were.
Oh, everybody is way ahead of us.
I know. But we were sort of halfway acknowledging that people could be stressed. We didn't even know what PTSD was. We all carry stress with us. That's what life is. You have to overcome it. It's another lesson you put in your own way. And then you have to figure out how to get around it, go over it, go under it, whatever it takes. But stress does kill, literally. Yeah. And when you spend all of your time focused on how awful this is, how bad that is, or worrying that something horrible is going to happen to you, you are self-destructing. I don't wish that for anyone. I want everyone out there to have a joyous life, to have a progressive life, to learn how to use your head and your heart simultaneously. Make them work together, because that's when you can really reach out to each other and heal yourself and others and the planet.
Well, believe it or not, it's taken me a good 11 years to work through all of this. I am now at a place, and again, I wish we could get that through to the people who are in power, the powers that be. And I'm not just talking politics either.
Right.
I'm talking religion and corporations and so on and so forth. And one of the things that I've gotten, that's not to say that I don't every once in a while have the rumblings of, oh, get out of here, Dada. And I don't know that I want to use the word pity.
Right.
But I have compassion for some of these folks, empathy, okay, because I know what they're doing, and what they're doing is, I'm going to put it in this vernacular, they're slowly committing suicide.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing.
Exactly.
And you can see it in their physical bodies. All right. You can see what's happening. And man, it's like, when are we going to wake up?
Exactly.
And realize this is not them doing it to us. That's one of the reasons why, in my philosophy, there are no victims.
I agree.
There are no victims.
I agree.
So Christian station back in the years of the 90s. I used.
There we go. We're back.
Here you are.
Mark it. Let me mark it. I got to fix that. The dirtiest word you can utter as far as a believer is concerned is personal responsibility. Responsibility is the word. And the theory I came to was, okay, so basically you're saying that if good things happen, that's God. And if bad things happen, that's the devil.
Yeah.
And that I am just a puppet on a string being manipulated by forces I don't understand.
No.
And I just can't. I mean, in the 80s, I went through a program called LifeSpring.
I remember that. Yes.
Yeah. And I found it fascinating that we went through the process of the whole victimhood thing.
Yeah.
All right. And so now I say, oh, back in the 80s, I won that game. I won. Well, how did you win? I don't play it anymore.
Right.
I don't play it anymore. And so when I hear people saying they did this to us and they did that to us, I say, no, they didn't. We, if you want to talk about a country, a state, a city, a community, we did this to us, not they.
I take it even further.
Please.
I think you do it to yourself. And you do it for yourself for an opportunity to grow.
Hear, hear.
If you don't have those roadblocks and those little pebbles in the path, you're never going to learn. You just become one of the cookie cutter beings that's out there moving forward, marching, listening to everybody else dictate what you are and who you are. You have to have methods of growth.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the most important one that we overlook a lot is the fact that we bring these things into our life. Yeah. And they're not always good. Sometimes they're horrendous. But we learn from them. We get stronger from them. If we're busy blaming somebody else for it, we're not looking here where it really counts.
And it's kind of sad in a way that there are those of us who see this.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, we cannot seem to get it through to others.
Yeah.
It's like, to us, it's obvious. It's kind of like when I'm doing some training of someone who is, I'm trying to teach them how to do the job that I do, for example. And I go, oh, this is easy. This is easy. Well, yeah, for you, it's easy. But it's like we sit there and we look at this and we say to ourselves, how is it that they aren't seeing this? I don't understand. Mm-hmm. And in a manner of speaking, we almost have to let that go.
Yes.
Truly.
Yeah. The judgment aspect has to go away because everybody's going to progress at their own rate.
Mm-hmm.
You can't push them along.
Yeah.
Would be nice, but you can't.
Yeah, it would be nice. Yeah. But that's part of even my book, Choices, 5 Steps for Life, that our lives are all about choices. That's what this life is about, in addition to all of the more esoteric and philosophical things. We are here to make choices, not good ones and not bad ones, just choices.
I agree.
And those choices can be based upon a lot of different things. My favorite dialogue I had with a guest once was where I said, that I've heard it said that, where we are because of the choices that we've made in the past. True enough. And that where we will be in 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years will be based upon the choices that we make today, to which my guest said, yes, with an addendum. The choices that you make today will be based upon your perception of what you think the future will be. Now, that's sort of the paradox, going back to what I brought up earlier. That is that there are so many people who are of a certain mindset that they've dug a hole in the ground, lined it with concrete, filled it with food and clothing, and they're ready for the day after.
Right.
And Jason Robards will be there to guide us through. Thank you very much. I still remember that movie. I wasn't that frightened. I believe it or not, I wasn't. And I realize that um, there are a lot of people who are afraid. There are people here in California, for example, it's summertime, and they are fearful of the fires or the this or the that or the other, whatever it is.
Right.
I wasn't afraid of COVID. Of course, my mindset was, well, if we will just do what the government's asking us to do for 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, if we'll just do that for 3 weeks, it'll be over. But people got impatient. And again, that was their choice. I understand. And it went on for what, 2 years, 2.5 years?
Yeah.
Oh my heavens. And then we lost, I think we lost 1 million souls
I don't
in
know,
America,
but it was a
something like
lot.
that. In any event, the extraterrestrial, if you want to call it. By the way, how do the Pleiadians, from your research, how do they feel about being referred to as extraterrestrials, aliens, et cetera, et cetera? Is there, other than calling them the Pleiadians, which is appropriate, since we don't know them by name yet, is there a sense that they prefer one designation over another, or does it really matter?
Not at all. In fact, most of the contactees that I've talked to, whether they're Pleiadian or other, they don't have a defined designation. They just consider us sort of their little brothers and little sisters that they check in on every now and then.
Well, I'll tell you, it's gratifying to know that they aren't going to allow us to destroy ourselves for a sixth time. That's kind of nice. That in some
Right.
fashion we'll come to a line and we'll attempt to cross it, and then that will be the time that I know you said that they don't want to.
Right.
But I also have a feeling Pleiadians have this ability to communicate telepathically, and they will actually, it'll still be the individual human's choice, granted,
Yes.
but they will send them a message of what to do.
I think you're right. And I think that may be happening now, not just with the Pleiadians, but with others as well, that we're getting these impulses. I've recently come across friends that I haven't seen in years and years that used to be the most materially oriented, left-brained, thump on it type of people you could imagine. And they've had this wild awakening, came to them in a dream, or they saw a craft, shifted their whole concept of consciousness. Really amazing. I lost you again.
It is interesting to contemplate the future. I never imagined a year ago I'd be sitting here where I'm sitting, let alone having a conversation with you again, which I've actually wanted to do because I don't guest host, I guest co-host, so to speak, on occasion with a gentleman, you may know him, Dr. Sky Steve Cates.
I've heard of him, yes.
Yeah. And he actually broadcasts on WABC AM 77 in New York. And he and I also do a program together, and it's called Skyview. And we've talked about the release of the documents by the government, and so forth. And I'm curious as to if you've done any dive into that information that's been released and what you think of it.
Well, I've looked at it. I've read quite a few things in it. Of course, I've been in this field forever and ever. I mean, I feel like a very old lady here, but I'm.
I didn't say it.
So, no, I did. Since the 70s. Yeah, a long time. And what they're releasing is really nothing new to me. But it's new to so many people. Yeah. And I think they're doing it in a beautiful way by not saying this is what this is or this is what that is, telling us what to believe. They're letting us peruse this, go through it, and make up our own minds. And that's important because everybody's progressing at a different level. For those of us that have been around for a long time, we see this and we go, oh yeah, I remember that. I heard about that. This happened, that happened, because all these little pieces have come out in the past. it's about time the government say something. I think we're way behind schedule compared to the rest of the world. That happens often. However, I get their point. When they look at this stuff, they think national security. Their job is to protect America. That's their mindset. They go there. That's their job. But by releasing it to us to make our own decisions, I think they are maybe preparing us for some pretty amazing things to come in the future. I don't see anything wrong with releasing it. I think they should release it faster and more. And you always wonder, is it going to be enough? Is it going to be everything? What are we really going to take from this? Does it matter? If you're getting the information, you're making the choices, again, your word, yourself, what you do with it, how you respond to it. So the more information that's out there, the more we can learn, the more we can develop, the more we can grow. And that's where we have to get.
Yeah. I'll be a little flippant here and say that the images, it's been said that computer images can actually have metadata embedded in the background. You can't see it, but it's there.
Right.
So what you do is you go into profile and properties, and you can break it down and look for it. I have a feeling that's how they're releasing the Epstein files, but that's another subject for another program. This is Tell Me Your Story. I'm Reverend Dr. D. She is Brit Elders. We're talking about UFOs. I know. Don't even go there. And we'll be back. Go here. Come back. We'll be back. And we are back with Brit Elders. I'm curious to ask you about your involvement in this subject. What in the Sam Hill was it that the catalyst that took you down this path, or as some might say, took you down the rabbit hole?
Yeah, it is a rabbit hole. It truly is. Once you stick your toe in that water, you're gone. Can't help it.
Have you seen Alice and the Mad Hatter yet?
Exactly. I grew up with this. My dad was literally a rocket scientist, worked with von Braun. I'd come home and there would be schematics all over the floor, and the guys would be talking about what they saw flying around that day at White Sands, all of the meetings they had at the Cape, at all of these different places. So to me, talking about things flying around in the sky was not unusual. But then, you kind of outgrow that and you move forward with life. And then the Meier case fell in our lap. And because it had so much physical documentation, we had an investigative company at that time. We said, well, we can't help but look into this. The curiosity got the best of us. And that started it. Since then, we've traveled around the world. We've been in jungles in Ecuador talking to indigenous people there, to politicians in Japan, to politicians in Mexico and in Europe. We had years and years ago, we had a wonderful meeting with Lord Clancarty and Lord Kimberley, the House of Lords, talking about UFOs. And Lord Clancarty, whose real name was Brinsley Laporte Trench, he was thoroughly into the subject. He just thought that was the greatest thing. And we're sitting there in his 3-floor walk-up on the floor, legs crossed, spent the entire day talking about UFOs. And I thought at that point, and this was like 78 or 79, I thought at that point, man, there's hope for this place. If we've got people that have power, that are in power, that wield it in bizarre, abstract ways, as far as I'm concerned, and they're thinking in these terms, we can really move forward in a lot of different directions. So our investigations we opened up to all kinds of things. Spent a lot of time in Mexico. Watch the difference between the Mexican population and the American population. Night and day. The Mexicans, I think, because they're used to miracles. It's their religious background. They didn't see anything abstract at all about UFOs. They loved the fact that these things were in their skies, stopping traffic on Reforma. They loved the fact that when the Pope arrived, there was a UFO. It was seen by everybody in Mexico City. That's a big city. They just had a much more open, receptive attitude. Even the media. When they had, it was January 3rd. It was 1997, I believe. Anyway, there was a mass sighting over Mexico City, and it was several objects in the air. They stopped their cars on Reforma, the biggest avenue through Mexico City, leaned back on the cars and watched the UFOs. It was on the 6 o'clock news. It was on the morning news. It was front page of the headlines on the paper. Amazing difference. Where here, not too long after that, Mexico's Air Force had a sighting that they recorded on a FLIR camera of 11 objects that were flying around their plane.
Mm-hmm.
We went down, we interviewed them, the military personnel. Not long after that, I was at a party in New York, and I was talking to members of the media here. Mm-hmm. And their remark was, "It's Mexico. What were they smoking?" I mean, they did not even put the respect to the individuals that took the footage, much less the respect that the topic deserved. That's how they got rid of it. They did not want to cover it. It's sad.
Yeah.
We're just now hitting that space of being like wide-eyed kids going, "Oh my gosh, this is incredible. Yeah. We've got stuff the government is saying real." But guys, really think about it. You don't need the government to tell you. Mm-mm. You need to know here.
And a couple of things real quickly here is that when you start talking about this issue of a threat to national security, I contend, and let's just say for the sake of argument, that these craft are from the Pleiadian planets, which are light years away, right, which means they have the technology to travel interstellar.
Yes.
If they were here for malefic purposes, you and I wouldn't be having this conversation.
Exactly.
It would have been over decades or maybe centuries ago. Okay.
Right.
The second question I've got for you is, why the Pleiadians? I mean, I don't know what the proximity is to Alpha Centauri or any of the other star systems. And again, when we start talking about star systems around us, it's not just a flat 365 circle. We're talking a three-dimensional 365. You know, and I'm just wondering, are as far as you have experienced and interviewed and so forth, are there other species other than the Pleiadians, or I don't know, Alpha Centaurians, or
yes, the Pleiadians? The Pleiadians told Meier there were 105 civilizations visiting Earth. And this was back in 1976.
Did he get a list?
No, he didn't. He should have.
Yeah.
But I've run into so many people that have had contact or been in their minds abducted by different beings from different places. They don't all look alike, but neither do we. They don't all think alike, but neither do we.
Yeah.
So we have to learn to be more, I hate to use the word tolerant, but maybe understanding.
How about accepting?
Not all things, accepting. Not all things move in the concept of the box we stick them in our mind.
Mm-hmm.
And just be open to whatever is headed your direction, because it's really quite fascinating out there.
I want to talk to you about your experience in Mexico with the people there, but from the perspective of how the experiences they've had either with direct contact or just observing the craft in the sky, and how this has affected and or changed, let's just say, their spirituality, their spiritual life, their belief, their personal philosophy.
First of all, they do not see a conflict between UFOs and religion, which a lot of people here want to rely on as a source of conflict. They figure God made many mansions. We're just one of them. There's a lot of others out there. So they look at it that way. Like I said, they do expect miracles. So this didn't surprise them. How it's changed them is it opened them up to discussing what's going on. What is that? What is it? What do you think it's here for? Why do you think it's looking at us? That type of thing. There's a city called Atlisco, 100,000 people. And just outside that city is a little place called Casita Blanca. Casita Blanca is the hottest place in town every night. The people grab their grandmothers or grandfathers, the lawn chairs, the beer cooler, the kids. They hike up the hill and they sit and wait for UFOs to show up. And it's a party atmosphere. It's like, hey, there are brothers from the sky. But they have a history that goes into that. When you get into the Mayan culture, the Olmec culture, the Aztec culture, they all had beings, feathered beings that came from the sky, Quetzalcoatl. They came and they educated the people. So right now, the public, they're kind of taking it for granted again because it's been going on for so long, for 30 years. But they also are waiting for that educational space to open up again because they know when they show up, they get knowledge.
What other countries have you visited and investigated this experience? I was going to say phenomenon, but it's beyond that.
Yeah.
That's a movie with John Travolta. I'm sorry.
Right. South America, in Ecuador, in Colombia, in Peru, Mexico, obviously. We spent a lot of time down there in the 90s and early 2000s. Japan, Germany, Denmark. Yeah, just sort of all over the place. Everybody having different experiences and bringing different knowledge base to it, but still having a wonderful experience.
Yeah.
Which is amazing to me. They're not looking at it from fear. And this is whether it's a sighting or a contact. One of the things that I've embarked on this year, it just sort of fell in my lap. Dr. Lynn Kitai, Phoenix Lights, has done a study on how people reacted to the Phoenix Lights. It was a 4-year study. It's peer-reviewed. She and I are writing a book about the witnesses. It's time we stop looking at the thump on its side of UFOs or phenomena, whatever you want to call it. How big it is, how far away it was, what color was it. All of that stuff is important, but we need to look at the witnesses and what they experienced. And so Dr. Lynn and I are going through all of these witness statements, and we're interviewing more and more witnesses all the time. And we're talking to them about what they were feeling when the experience took place, when they saw the lights, and then what happened in their life afterwards. Now, this has been 30 years since the Phoenix Lights, and most of them have developed, for lack of better terms, paranormal or supernatural experiences in their lives, whether it's lucid dreaming, precognitive thought. All of this is coming forward in these people's lives, and they all relate it back to the Phoenix Lights effect.
Wow.
It's really fascinating. So I'm having more fun now, not looking at the thump of its side. I don't need to prove it to me or anybody else. I want to know what the people are feeling, what they're experiencing, and how they're relating it to their daily life.
And that's really what it comes down to. I experienced when working back in the 80s and early 90s for the station that when someone would call in and share their experience, supernatural or spiritual, what have you, and if it didn't conform, i.e., oh no, it's not here in the book, so no, you couldn't have had that, was the devil. No.
Right.
And I sit there going, wait a minute. You are discounting an experience that has changed their lives. And now you're telling them that that experience was wrong.
Yeah.
And what are they supposed to do with that? And basically what's going to happen is if they ever have another one of those experiences, either A, they are going to have the fortitude not to deny it, but they will not share it with anyone.
Unfortunately.
Themselves. Or B, they will deny it. And if it keeps happening, it could put them over the edge. And it's like, you started that you started those dominoes falling by denying the reality that it happened. Now, my mother asked me once, Richard, have you ever had any supernatural or spiritual experiences? I suppose I could go back to the time when my still small voice told me I needed to turn right up a road and then go around this one farm field instead of going straight to work.
Uh-huh.
You know, that's the still small voice prompting me, no, turn right, turn right. I went a half a mile past it and it didn't stop. So I actually turned around and went back.
Oh, good.
But she asked me, so have you ever had any supernatural or spiritual experiences? And I said, well, I'll tell you, if I have, I perceived them as normal.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, and I look at, for example, Yeshua in the same way. The things that he did as well as experienced, okay, that was just him, okay? He was, put it this way, he was really, really connected, okay?
Yes.
He was connected. So to tell someone that they didn't see it, I mean, my wife has told me stories from her childhood. You know, one of these days, maybe when I get this gal, Soma Ara, on the program again from Ireland, I'll say, hey, could we bring in Ashtar? And could we talk about, of Ashtar?
Yes.
Oh my God. Wonderful. Anyway, I may say, hey, can you shed some light on this particular experience that my wife had? Now, obviously, I get her permission ahead of time. It's just, to me, it's unfortunate, and it leads me into an area. I'm going to stick my pinky in it, and I'm going to come out, because one of the things that is troubling in our day and age is that you have these ostensibly two factions politically. Okay.
Yeah.
And one faction is accused of having what is called this derangement syndrome. Okay. For the other's leader. And over the course of the subsequent years, and in this case, it's 11, there have been people who have been over there with the leader.
Right.
And as time has gone on, they've gone, something's not right here. I'm out. I am out of here. I can't buy into any more of this stuff, right? Because it doesn't make sense. It's like me in the religious station, and I would ask questions. The answers I would get didn't make any sense. And I said, no, that doesn't make any sense to me. My brain cannot process what you're telling me because it's illogical. So I sit there and I see these people who are moving from one space to another.
Right.
And asking the question, oh, so do they now have this derangement syndrome? Oh, is it contagious? Is that the problem? And unfortunately, when it comes to the whole UFO thing, until somebody has an experience, if they've been critical before, now it's like, oh my God, my brain is aching because I now have to make the mental and emotional shift because I just had that experience.
But the release of the information through the Pentagon is having that same reaction.
Yeah.
I've talked to more people that said, I didn't believe this crap. This was just this. But look what the government's saying. I don't get why we need the government to tell us, but okay.
Yeah. But it's like you said too.
Your mind.
But it's like you said too. They're just releasing it. They're not telling us anything.
Yeah.
Other than we're releasing it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And I've often found that the height of insulting that the government would take the position it has on many subjects, including this one. You want the truth? Pardon me for quoting this one. You can't handle the truth. That's what the government is saying to us.
Yes.
And it's like, who are you to determine whether or not we can handle it?
Right. But I also understand why they're doing it in baby steps.
Yeah. But if they had done it from the beginning, told the truth, I've said this time and time again, Brit, if you have no secrets to keep, you have no secrets to keep. All right.
Yeah, but secret keepers are so much fun in Washington. I don't care what party you're part of. I mean, that's the whole thing. We got to be a secret keeper. Well, we don't need secrets anymore.
Yeah.
We
really.
need what everybody talks about, that illumination of knowledge.
Transparency.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Good luck with that. I wish you much luck with that, as well as with continuing to listen to us, Brit Elders, and yours truly, Reverend Dr. D, here on Tell Me Your Story. We are fast approaching the end of our time together once again for the fifth time. And by the way, as I may have mentioned, I am completing, although maybe by the time of its broadcast or you're hearing this, folks, I will have completed 66 revolutions around the sun. Oh, my arms, they are so tired. Thank you very much. And this year, it's very fascinating for me. This year, sixes are wild. You have the month, you have the 6 in the year, you have the 6 in the day, you have the 6 in the number of years that I've completed. By the way, I've always looked at it that way, celebrating 66 years. And of course, you say that until the next time around, right?
Right.
But the reality is, on that day, I then begin my 67th revolution around the sun.
Right.
Because you don't come out of the womb at year 1. Now, maybe 9 months, and you could look at it that way. But anyway, we won't go down that rabbit hole.
But that's beautiful. I mean, and the fact that you're having so much fun and you're letting life lead you in the directions you need to be placed.
Yeah.
That flow with the go thing. You're doing a beautiful job of it. You're up there in gorgeous country.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, my wife has had health issues for the last few years before we moved. And once we got up here, this is actually, we call it a 4-story house. Right, we have a walk-in storage facility under the first floor.
Wow.
Then we have the master bedroom, my studio, and a master bath on the first floor.
Right.
On the second floor, we have the entrance to the house, along with the living room, the kitchen, the third bedroom, and second bathroom.
Right.
And then we have a loft that overlooks the living room.
Your house sounds very much like mine.
Oh, it is such a gas. But she would almost not even get out of bed. That was how bad she was doing for almost the first month that we lived here.
Oh, goodness.
Now she is flying up and down those stairs.
I love it.
Oh, it is so wonderful to see.
Good energy.
And absolutely. And she just celebrated her 75th.
Great.
And, back in February. And we're just, we got all kinds of plans for the house. I love the DIY projects. I may not be the guy to call to do them, but I know that if I'm out of my element, I know that I need to call the guy, right?
Yeah, it's asking for help again. Yes.
Exactly. And then there are just these little tweaks. Oh, I need to change that electrical outlet faceplate. Oh, no big deal. Put that on there. Oh man, that looks so much nicer. And then there's and hanging pictures and putting a little paint here and a little paint there.
Making it live.
Oh my gosh. And of course she, in the beginning, I don't know that I'll ever call this home. And now we're into this thing for, what is it now? 9 months? Yeah.
Wow.
And she has now, as I have been for several months, been able to call it home,
That's wonderful, Richard. That is so incredible.
And I want that for everybody. That's part of what this program's about.
Yes.
That's part of what my book Choices is about as well. And I know too that what the research and the investigation that you have done is part of that as well, in terms of the messages that you have received through the people you've investigated, that you've researched, that you've talked with. And I would venture that the Pleiadians are kind of feeling the same way. They're trying to get that message across too. It's like, it doesn't matter who is in the White House or what they put on the front lawn or what this person said or that person did. What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing with your life? You seem to still be having a lot of fun. And I was going to ask you this final question before we do come to a conclusion here. What is next, not only in the career of Brit Elders, but what's next in general for Brit?
Just loving every day of life, just finding something to be grateful for, to appreciate, which isn't hard. I walk out on my deck and I'm surrounded by trees and I'm happy. I've got my two pups. I'm thrilled with them. They keep me on my toes. So I just want to be alive, to feel life, and let my curiosity run wild. Ask as many questions as I need to find as much as I can. I never stop with the investigating. I mean, you've got to ask questions constantly. And when you need help, you got to ask for it too. I want to wrap up the book with Dr. Lynn. I'm editing my husband's book that he wrote before he passed. That'll be ready to go. I'm working on a book with Shirley MacLaine. So I have a lot of things in the career avenue, but I have got to just keep that curious mind being fed by all the different things happening out there.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, as we come to the end of our fifth program, I'm going to ask you those three questions once again, because you never know, the answers
They might change.
But before I do that, I want to thank you for listening to and watching Tell Me Your Story, New Paradigms for a New World, giving you choices and knowledge of those choices to help make your dreams come true. We are here on Sundays at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m., Monday mornings at 1 a.m., Wednesdays at 9 a.m., and Monday through Friday from 8 to 9 a.m., streaming live at all those times at richarddugan.com. We are podcasting on SoundCloud, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Spotify, Stitcher, Player FM, Blueberry, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and we are on YouTube and Rumble. And we hope that you will subscribe and click notification. We hope you'll go to Amazon, pick up a copy of my book, which is Choices, 5 Steps for Life. And we also hope that you will do what you can to support us financially if it's possible. We encourage you to send us what you can through Zella. Use my email address, richard@richarddugan.com. You can also do it through PayPal, however you choose. We are grateful and thank you to those who have helped and to those who will help. And finally, we hope that you'll take some time during the decade of perfect vision, the 2020s, to spend some time in that quiet, peaceful, calm, still place and listen to and follow the promptings of that still small voice. And with all of that being said, we go to our 3 questions for our very special guest here, and I hope we do have a 6th and 7th and 8th time with her.
Yes.
She moves forward. It's always a lot of fun to talk about some of these things. First of all, who is Brit Elders? I beg your pardon. Who is?
Oh, that's
Brit
interesting.
Elders?
She was an actress.
Yes, she was. I don't know where she came from, but nonetheless, who is Brit Elders?
She is a woman that is constantly working to improve herself so that she can improve things and anything around her. She's always on a quest, always curious.
What gets you up in the morning?
Literally, my pups. I have 2 Pomeranians. One gets on one side and kisses here, the other one kisses here. Yeah.
Yeah, we're on the verge of getting another dog too. It's been over a year, so it's time. Finally, what was your best day?
Oh gosh, I think every day. I really don't try to have a bad day. I like to have best days.
Excellent. Well, once again, Brit Elders, thank you so much for joining us here on the program.
Thank you, sir. This has been delightful. I love our back and forth all over the place conversation.
Absolutely. Same here. And I thank you for listening to and watching Tell Me Your Story. And until our next broadcast, podcast, videocast, love Talal. Jeanette, I'm still listening. Dad, continue to be happy because I am. Smokey, I'll see you on the other side. Mike, thanks for being in my life and letting me be in your life. To my dear brother, Mike, welcome to fatherhood. And to my dear friend, Zorro, aho, aho.